I'm gonna play with the ducks. Oh, I thought that was a flying duck. But I'm not about to play with those birds. Hey, duck. Well, I feel like I'm in nature right now. They're like patiently waited to attack. Okay. Never mind. I never got this close to a duck before. Okay, yep, yep. I'm not about to play with that. I'm a cat person. And welcome back. In the last video that I posted on my channel, I introduced who I was and what musical that I made, and that's Child of the King. And Child of the King was produced completely on the iPad Pro. So today I will break down who the characters are, the story, and the actual moral of the story. So, again, Child of the King is primarily based on the Prodigal Son parable written in the 4 Gospels in the Bible. And we follow the main character who leaves home, takes his inheritance to pursue worldly things, just to find out that everything that glitters isn't what it seems, or everything that glitters isn't gold. And in this case, Mordecai is a young prince that lives in a castle. Of course, his father, the king, King Ari, and then we have his brother, Jacob. And in the parable, you realize that the youngest brother left home to pursue worldly things, but the oldest brother stayed home to take care of home. So we have that dynamic. Again, we also have Mordecai, who's an aspiring musician. He plays music at home, but what he really wants is fame. And he doesn't realize the consequences of fame and the consequences of ignorance. And that's what we'll follow out in the story as well. Now, this story is primarily a lesson on not just ignorance, but also the consequences of ignorance. And now we focus on one of the main characters, the brother, Jacob. And Jacob is responsible for taking care of the kingdom, taking care of his dad when he gets sick, taking care of the citizens and whatever they need. And it's a lot of stress on him, and it's a lot of weight on him. Meanwhile, his younger brother wants to run around, do whatever he wants, get whatever he wants, and feels entitled to everything, primarily because he's the prince. But Mordecai has this real dream of becoming a famous artist, such as Jimi Hendrix, Michael Jackson, Prince. But the thing about it is, he can't do it while he's in the kingdom and in the castle because he's royalty. By him being royalty, he's also held to a responsibility, and that responsibility does not require him to be a music artist. Now, with the responsibility of royalty or having a high-ranking position, Mordecai can't do what he necessarily wants to do. With that being said, he chooses to jet off into a distant city to become this famous music artist. Now the thing is, he's actually a good music artist, and he actually becomes prominently successful, like well known, one of the greats. But that comes with a major downfall. Not only is he good at music, but he also has this fantastic ego and also a fantastic drug problem and drinking problem that he carried from the kingdom. Now, even though Mordecai jets off and chooses what he wants to do and who he wants to be in life, Jacob is stuck with every responsibility in the kingdom, including taking care of his sick father. Even after Mordecai jets off, does what he wants to do in the big city, becomes famous and everything, Jacob is at home carrying all of the responsibility. And to not keep it too long and to not expose too much of the story, Mordecai falls flat on his face with everything. He loses everything. And then, out of his own mind, he chooses to go back home to seek a job in the kingdom. And thinking that his father will be disappointed in him, his father actually runs to him, embraces him, and welcomes him back home. Not as a servant, not as a member of staff, but as his son. And that's the most important key of this entire parable and this entire musical, is that no matter where we go at, no matter what we do, no matter what we choose to do, no matter who we choose to become, whether we take a left turn off the path that God chose for us, if we drift off and decide to use our free will to do things that are negative, that are not in God's will for our life, God's still waiting. God is still present in our lives. And that's the most important piece of this entire message within the musical and inside of the parable itself, is that God is still welcoming, He is still loving, and He is still caring for you. And that's the reason why I made this musical, to not only entertain, but to bring light into this message. Because a lot of us feel like God has left us, and a lot of us feel as though God has abandoned us, when He's He's waiting right there. And all we have to do is go towards Him. If you're not focused on God, then God won't reveal Himself. But the moment that you focus on God, that's when He reveals all of Him. And that's the most important part that I want to say about this entire musical, is that the Father King inside of the musical, He was still rooting for His son. No matter what he did, no matter what drinking problem he did, no matter what course of life that he chose to take, He still upheld His son because that's His son and He loved him. If you take anything from the course of this musical, it's not just the fact that I made it on an iPad. It's not just the fact that I made it entirely myself with no team, no budget, no nothing. It's the fact that God was walking with me the entire time of making it and increasing my faith while doing it. That's the most important piece that I can stress, is to let you guys know not only has it changed my life, but it's going to change other lives. It's what we need in this world. This world only talks about things that are negative, doesn't shine a light on anything positive at all. And most importantly, it's a very down-to-earth musical. It's not fluffed, it's not hyped, it's not over glamored. I made sure that I stuck to the bare bones of truth with this musical. So welcome to Child of the King, and let's break this musical down and let's have some fun and learn a lot. Thank you guys. Subscribe, like, and all that jazz, and I'll see you in the next one.